Hello, everyone, and welcome to the new episode of Entrepreneurship Lab. This is your host, Nevena Bajalac, welcoming you once again to the new episode where we help you grow and scale your business and learn about entrepreneurship, business, and investing. And today I have a special guest. They are a couple, husband and wife, and they're very successful entrepreneurs and investors. And when I read their bio, I was very impressed of everything they achieved and how hard they worked to come where they are today. Their names are Graeme and Leanne Carling, and they're founders of the Carling Group. It's an international family investment company that focuses on investing and consolidating fragmented segments. So I'm going to welcome them to the show, and they're going to share their amazing story with us, and they're going to tell us and teach us a little bit more how they build their own empire. So Graeme and Leanne, welcome to the show, and thank you for being here today.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you very much, Nevena. Thank you for having us.
So you guys, I just found out you are actually in Dubai, where I am as well, but you're from Scotland, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah.
So how long have you been in Dubai, and what led you to move here?
Well, we've been in Dubai for 3 years now, just around 3 years. And we moved just after COVID, after the COVID lockdown. We've been looking at moving for a few years prior to that. We have a house in Spain also, but as our businesses were growing, we wanted to be based in a really vibrant, really forward-thinking environment. And we'd been coming to Dubai for 15, 20 years. So we'd seen the growth of the place. Our kids loved it coming here on holiday, and everything just sort of fell into place, and it made sense. So yeah, we're loving it still.
I think Dubai for me had a really can-do energy. So when you were, hustling and bustling in business, Dubai was just a place that, it felt right that you can do it. And as Graeme says, when you're based here, you can travel pretty much to anywhere in the world for investing. So it just felt like a great hub for us.
Yes, and what I love about Dubai Spirit also, I moved here almost 8 years ago, is that you really feel as entrepreneur the support, because the whole place and the government is always looking to do better and more, and like no excuses, right? Why are we thinking small? So it always pushes you to think bigger. It's a very competitive environment as well, so you have to hustle, you have to move, but it's amazing having you around. So I want to know a little bit, I want you actually to share with the listeners about your background. I know you guys quit your jobs, you had baby on the way. What made you decide to become entrepreneurs? What was the turning point in your life, and when?
Well, I don't think there's ever been a turning point for me. I think I was always going to be an entrepreneur, even though we didn't have that in my family. My father worked he worked for a few companies, but he always worked in the corporate sector and worked his way up the corporate ladder. Never, started his own business, always talked about it, but never actually, took the leap of faith, if you like, and done it. And I seen him struggle over all the years of my life. No matter how well he'd done in the corporate world, we always had no money, but Christmas and birthdays and holiday time, we didn't have any, there was no money there. So no matter what he'd done, and I just never wanted to be like that, but didn't really have the wherewithal to how to go about doing it. So there wasn't a particular point in time. I always had kind of a desire to do it, and I just had to kind of find my way and work that out myself.
I don't think prior to meeting Graeme, I was also involved in the corporate ladder and corporate world, and continuing to work my way up the corporate ladder. But it was when I met Graeme, he had introduced me to the book Rich Dad Poor Dad, and that was a turning point for me. I always had the entrepreneurial spirit, but I just didn't know what it was. And when Graeme introduced me to the book and what he'd been studying for the few years and his experiences in the past before meeting, that was my turning point.
I love that, because that book was turning point for me. And like you said, I realized I was always entrepreneur, hustling, doing a couple of things, but I didn't know what it was. And I love that book. It just opened the eyes for me to keep on reading and learning. So that's amazing. So tell us a little bit more about the Carling Group. What have you built from the moment you started. It's an investment firm. What do you help people with in the Carling Group?
Well, we do business internationally now. We do it in UAE, Europe, and the US. We have investments there, and that's been built up over a number of years. We quit our jobs, as you mentioned, in 2007, and we started off buying one property, in the height of the financial crunch. That's all it was. And our goals and dreams at that time, very rich dad, poor dad, and that mindset was simply to become financially free and have enough cash flow coming in to pay our bills. We didn't have grander dreams than that we now have. And that's just been as we've evolved over the years. So businesses now consist of, we still have a large real estate portfolio, residential, commercial, we have student accommodation, workforce accommodation, we have, and we own businesses that are active in sectors in relation to building and planning and development, and also maintaining buildings, facilities, management companies. So I'm looking at renewable energy. So we do, it's kind of just been a natural evolution for us over the piece. We have some investments in sports now, sports clubs and teams, and that's an area that we're keen on moving forward, along with healthcare. But we don't do it ourselves. We're very much a partnership business. We work with and invest in and partner in businesses that know the area, the sector, and the market, wherever that may be in the world. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And Leanne, you are managing in the company mergers and acquisitions. This is something I received when I read your bio, right? And you guys became, if that's correct, in Scotland, the largest private or landlords, right, with the private equity. So how is it working with mergers and acquisitions? Now you're working internationally, but how did that started?
Okay, so back to in the corporate world, I was always a buyer or in procurement, and I believe that when you buy well, you make more money. So you make more money when you buy rather than when you sell. So it's all about getting the deal right. And that's just continued through the properties, the business. It's about getting the deal flow correct, making sure that we always work with a strict criteria and whatever sector we're working in, just so that we're not distracted by loads of nonsense. So we know what we're looking for. We then create funnels to attract deals, and then we just work our way through the pipeline.
So for listeners who are just starting, it's amazing to build this multi-million-dollar empire. What would you say to someone to start? If somebody wants to start in real estate and properties, and I believe in it, I'm also an investor starting, like you said, first step is getting financial freedom. Then you see the bigger vision. And I think we also start believing, hey, I can also be that person, right? It's like a step journey. But what would you say is the first step with someone? How did you manage that? Did you had some savings, capital? Did you took mortgage? What is maybe going to be your advice? And how did you do it?
Well, I'll tell you how we done it. And I think, Leanne, you can explain that. I mean, in terms of at the start, very importantly, we didn't have any capital. We had zero capital to invest at the start. We had enough money when we quit our jobs. We had enough money to live off for 6 months. So we were under a lot of pressure to get a deal, to refinance it. So we've acquired it through mortgaging or debt financing or over when we first started. Still doing that now, but when we started, and the plan always was that we would. Because we were really up against it time-wise, because we had an impending event. With an impending event, I stole your words there. Oh. Yeah, with an impending event that we had to, so we had to get out hustling. And Leanne will tell you how we attracted the first few properties that we acquired. Yeah.
So Graeme's right. We work well when there's an impending event. And we're under pressure to get things done. So as Graeme said, we had enough money to live off for 6 months. That was to live off, not invest. So we use creative finance, as Graeme said, but it's actually getting off your bum and getting out there. And I had a baby at the time, so I had the baby in a pram. And I was looking at, because we were buying properties at the time, so I was looking at areas that we wanted to buy property in, and I was actually going round and putting silly notes through people's doors to say, I want to buy your property, or I'm looking to buy properties in this area. So it's just about getting your bum off your seat and getting out there and putting hard work in. And, you know, we'd had advertisements in papers, online, we had our websites. We're trying to attract as many leads as we can. And then we were buying, there was websites, I think there still are just now, you know, at the time, that you could buy property information that people were looking to sell. And then I just started speaking to lawyers, you know, people that were involved in. We've never done a deal through an agent, can I just say? We've always done our deal, like property deals, we've always sourced our own deals. But it's getting out there and speaking to people. And once you get a track record of completing on time, in full, you know, doing what you say you're going to do, the deals then start coming to you.
So I think
that's very inspiring. Yeah.
Yeah, so kind of to summarise that, it's you just got to get started.
Yeah.
You know, now we wouldn't, some of the smaller deals we done back in the day, we wouldn't look at them now. You know, we're doing far bigger deals now, but it all started with that first deal, buying the first property, then just keeping going and just gradually working your way up. You know, you don't solve all the puzzles from the start, and that worked well for us. You've just got to get in the game. You have to, you know, as Leanne says, get off your butt and go and get in the game. It's not going to happen just reading books or anything. You have to do it.
Yeah.
I think the people, when you're out there and the people telling you, no, you can't do this, forget about that as well. You know, that kind of kicked us on and made us more hungrier to do. You know, it was almost like you were wanting to prove that it could be done. So it keeps you motivated. So don't get upset by the no's. There'll be more no's than there are yeses, but just get on with it and keep going.
Yes, and that's very inspiring. So thank you for sharing. I want to know, I'm sure on this journey, right? Sometimes you have worries, you're going into debt, mortgage. I'm sure you had many tough times and moments. How did you deal with it? Because people sometimes come to me, right? And we're consulting and coaching, and also myself as an entrepreneur, you finally feel, oh, this is going well. And then the problem comes, and then you're solving a new problem all the time. How did you dealt with different problems that occur? Maybe you can share something that was extremely stressful, or you had no idea how you're going to figure it out, and then somehow you figure it out, because I found that to be helpful on people on their journey as well, to hear stories like that.
Well, to start with, the job of an entrepreneur is to solve problems, and it's how you handle the bad times or the problems which makes you the better entrepreneur. But Graeme can share some of the problems that we've had.
That's right. You know, look, at the end of the day, there's problems and troubles every day, and in actual fact, that's where the growth is. That's really where the magic is. Everything, anybody can do it if everything's going smoothly. You know, anybody would be an entrepreneur, though. It's how you handle it, what your emotional bank account, how resilient you are, and we've built that up over a number of years. I think for us, you know, actually, the more debt we get in, the better. So that's never a concern for us, because if it's good debt, we know we're using that debt to buy assets that are either have a large equity or are cash flowing positive. So we're looking to get in as much debt as we can, good debt, not for, you know, rubbish, so where it's generating it.
And can I just cut in there? We used to have people ask us, how do you sleep at night with all that debt? But as Graeme said, it's the mindset. It's good debt. You know, it's not we're risky people. They're calculated risks. You know, we know what we're investing in.
So, and I think, like, when things come, you know, the property, COVID, for example, you go to COVID, you know, we didn't know what was going to happen. We had a number of businesses. We had 500 staff working for us that we had to immediately, you know, the whole world ground to a halt. How do you deal with that and happen? What does this mean? You know, so there's been so many really over the years stressful moments. You know, change. You know, in the UK, you had Scottish independence that created uncertainty. A number of investors that we had worked with for years kind of got a bit edgy and wanted their money back. Well, you know, real estate's an illiquid asset. when you need it, you know, instantly. That's the only downfall of it. And a lot of people were panicking or needed their money back during a term that they weren't supposed to. So when you're dealing with some of the smaller investors, and this is something that, you know, I should highlight, is, you know, some people's circumstances change and it could affect the whole. How are you going to deal with that, navigate that situation? So it's challenging, but you come through it. And I think when we look back through sort of our journey, if you like, you know, we've had some sort of really tough years where, due to circumstances, it didn't need to be COVID, but other people's circumstances, you know, investors' circumstances have changed, and that could have an effect on the whole. So we just learned to get better at that, better at, you know, who we decide to invest with and the type of projects. So look, you know, it never stops, and I think that's another really important thing. There's no Hal saying you're just going to lie on Jumeirah Beach all day and just be, you know, just that's it. You know, it's once you get the bug, once you get in the game, and we at the start we thought, become financially free, we can go and lie on the beach in Spain and that'll be us for the rest of our life. You know, we tried it for a few months, hated it, absolutely hated it, because we're entrepreneurs. We need to keep on challenging ourselves, growing, getting bigger, and there's way more we could do in the world, you know.
Yeah.
So we were letting ourselves in.
Yeah. And actually, I say, first, we are stressed and we want to reach that financial freedom, but I truly believe that we should constantly create and really, because they say happiness is the progress when we are growing, when we are also contributing to others. Now you have experience and knowledge that you can contribute and help. And I mean, today you're here sharing your knowledge with others. So there's always some kind of fulfillment. And I absolutely agree. It sounds fun to just be relaxed financially and sit at the beach. But after a while, you realize, wait, I want to grow. I want to challenge. I want to develop. And I absolutely agree with that. My next question for you will be, can you share some of the mistakes you did when it comes to investing, properties, or not knowing the numbers, return on investment, anything you can share with us that maybe you wish you knew, so we can learn from you guys? What are some mistakes you did or some information you didn't know?
I don't think we've got enough
No, I was
time.
going to say this podcast is only half an hour. I don't think, you know, we can film days of mistakes. We've made
Maybe
many.
2 or 3, maybe, or 1 if it's a big one.
I think what I will say is, we made the mistake of believing that financial freedom was where you was what it was all about. And in actual fact, again, from where we were coming from, that was the dream, that was the goal. Just because you become financially free doesn't mean to say it's permanent. Mm-hmm. So things can change. You can get to a point of financial freedom, but that doesn't mean to say you're always going to be financially free if you just stop doing what you're doing. In actual fact, we had this, it was a mythical place. It was the magic land that you made it there. And that was it. Everything was going to be great. And for us, that's a very dangerous place to be, because it makes you lazy. I think it makes you slow down. I think it makes you take your eye off the ball, comfortable, all of that stuff. And when we got to that position, which we did relatively quickly, being financially free, then we, you know, maybe thinking that, you know, oh, well, we've done it now, we've made it and all that stuff. I don't think we were ever that bad, because we were always keen to progress. But I think it's a very, very dangerous place to be. And you people that are not financially free, I get it, that's the dream. But once you get there, you know, you've got to keep there and grow. I think if you stop, and we've seen it, you know, you watch how quickly that can disappear again. So for me, that was a mistake in terms of mindset that we had. That was the place to be, and everything would be fine. No.
Yeah. And it's very valuable because it is like a dream for us when we start. We're like, we want to get financial freedom, but it's true because economy changed, things come. We saw COVID changing so many things. And we know also the real estate market goes up and down, and whatever you invest, if you were investing in one country, another country, things can change. So it's very valuable, actually. Thank you for sharing that. And how about you, Leanne? Some mistake, something that it's very valuable for you?
I think from business, working in business, we are really passionate about our team and very loyal to our team. But I think one of the big lessons for me the last couple of years was not cutting quick enough. So let me explain. If the team member wasn't performing or had the same vision or goal as the company, and you're being loyal to that person and not the company or the rest of the team, it causes more problems. So I always say cut quick. So if you identify a problem within the team, cut quick. If that person no longer fits the team and the business, you need to get rid of them. We didn't, and it cost us more problems than what it would have if we had cut quick.
Another thing is it's not just for team as well, it's your advisors, the people you're working with.
Well, that is your team.
Yeah, the people that you're relying on, your externals that you're relying on to work with. So over the years, as you grow, your team has to grow, your advisors grows. We at the start maybe done something on the cheap because we knew that we were trying to save money, and so we'd use the local accountancy firm, or we'd use someone that was recommended on that does it on the cheap. And every time it's came back to haunt us, every single time. We actively are very proud that we're looking to source the highest fees because you're just that's where the best advice is at. But it's only as you grow and scale and can afford it that it makes any sense. But so that your goal has to be to pay KPMG or to pay the top legal firms, pay them the going rate. That has to be the goal. And if you you're not earning enough, because these guys are there for a reason, they'll protect you, and that's where the best advice is at.
We always seek out the best advisors in that sector. So who's moving and shaking in that space? Who is where you want to be as a company?
Yes.
Be careful who you're taking advice from. Are the people are companies qualified to give you the advice that you're looking for? Are they doing what you want to do?
Yes, thank you. That was actually really helpful. And as a consultant working with companies, sometimes I see for CEOs being tough because they feel like they're mean. If they have to fire someone, they're a nice person. But like you said, as you grow, if you want to grow faster, the faster you cut and you move certain people around, or you let some people go and you bring the better and stronger people in your team, because your team then later on, brings the results. So that's absolutely true. And it was really nice hearing that from you. So thank you for listening. Tell us, how can listeners connect with you? Do you guys help people in certain way when it comes to investing, or if they're interested to learn from you? Tell us, where are you now in your journey? Do you help as well?
Well, we don't really do. I mean, we just do business. That's what we do. We're very clear on that. We do business. We love doing shows like this. We love connecting with people, but we're very much focused. We're not, we're not gurus. We're not, we're not coaches. In that sense, there are way better, people that do that than us. But we're very much active every day in running business, and we understand the international market, and happy to connect with people that may have deals or opportunities, or we're happy to connect in that sense. So we're very active on LinkedIn, Graeme.Carling and
Leanne.Carling
on LinkedIn, or the carlinggroup.co.uk is our website. So yeah, I mean, we always get back to people. We spend a lot of time meeting people, but it's mainly business related as opposed to kind of coaching. There's enough sort of coaches out there.
I understand. Well, thank you. We're going to invite all the listeners to connect with you on LinkedIn, to follow you, to read things you post, to learn more, especially about investing in real estate. And thank you for being here, really, and sharing your time with us today.
Thank you very much,
Thank you.
Nirvana.
Thank
Thank
I
you.
appreciate it. And thank you, listeners, for being here, listening. Make sure to subscribe, download the episodes, share it with others so others can benefit as well. And I will see you in the next episode.